August 1991, relations between the Black and Jewish communities hit bottom as neighbor fought neighbor on the streets of Crown Heights in Brooklyn, New York.
Some friends came by and said, look, Crown Heights is jumping off. A kid was hit by a Jew, as they say, and there's a riot going on.
The riots began after an Hasidic driver in a police-escorted motorcade lost control of his car, ran over and killed a 7-year-old boy named Gavin Cato. Hours later, a crowd of Black youth stabbed to death an Hasidic man, Yankel Rosenbaum, as he walked down the street.
I was out there each day, each night during the entire uprising. Some people call it a riot, others call it a pogrom, depending on where your mind is. I think that for the community, it was a sad occasion.
One of the strange things about Crown Heights is that this riot, which has become such a symbol for Black-Jewish relations in the United States, involved an unusual group of Jews and an unusual group of Blacks. You're talking about a neighborhood which is heavily populated with Hasidic Jews and with Caribbean-born Blacks. And yet it's mainstream Jews and mainstream Blacks who are taking the lesson and who are reacting to it.
What you have here was foreigners fighting each other for an enclave, fighting for Crown Heights. It's the first West Indian riot in the history of the city. In a sense, West Indians led this riot. And this is because of the type of frustrations, we are a people, we suffer a lot. So you had all these people coming together at this point in time and politicizing what had happened to this little Guyanese child, that was killed by an Hasidic Jew. And this is the piece of concrete that was the car hit, and it has remained as a sort of a symbol. This is part of the Wailing Wall. Blacks wail at this particular wall, and it's like a rock. It's very, very symbolic, People still come at the spot and cry and different type, at different times. It's pretty emotional.
It was a classic visual of the 19th century Jewish community under siege by anti-Semites. I mean, it brought up all kinds of collective Jewish horrors and memories. It fanned the flames of everyone's racist fears because you had Blacks chasing Jews in the streets. I mean, there were visuals that sort of gave the momentum to this thing.
I think the Crown Heights situation for a while was being denied by most non-Orthodox Jews as having anything to do with them. But then again, I feel that if anti-Semitism is allowed to pass about Hasidim, because they're so identifiable by their dress and their habits, the next thing is it'll spread to the west side of Manhattan and Great Neck, Long Island, and so on. Because anti-Jewish behavior is anti-Jewish behavior. It's just a question of can you identify the Jews or not?
I can't tell you how many conversations, and I'm talking about private conversations that I've had in places like my synagogue, like street corners in Queens where I live, in the Jewish neighborhoods of Crown Heights, which makes it sound like everybody with black skin in the area of Brooklyn was out on the streets rioting, that they're all anti-Semitic, that they were all there, they all only wanted to kill the Jews. And clearly you had a minority, of people who were on the streets, but yet that's the way it's told, as if it's the entire community attacking us.
Crown Heights was like an armed camp. There were police all over the place, on every corner of an intersection, not just on one corner, on every corner, 4 corners. Riot gear, shields, clubs, tear gas, shotguns, cops on Harleys, on horseback, in helicopters flying overhead. It was an armed camp.
But the police did not help Isaac Bitan and his son.
I saved him, and I'm not trying to be a hero for that. I was trying to just hold him and try to get him away from the crowd, and people were shouting. A woman was shouting, "Die, bitch, die." And, people, 6 stones were just coming from everywhere. Huh? I just saw another human being who was not he was not a soldier in this combat. He was just a victim Well, he was Jewish, yes, but he was a victim. He was not a part of the combat that was happening at that point in time, and I couldn't see him just go down like that. I was not a soldier in this war either. I was just observing this war and recording this war. You know. The next day, there's a photo of this man lying prostrate on the sidewalk, splashed across the front page of the New York Post. It showed then black people's inhumanity toward Jews. I'm saying, wait a minute, where is the photo of me trying to help this man?